Hi there and welcome to sunny Scottsdale, Arizona for another Intellifluence Influencer Spotlight. I'm Andrew Evans.
And I'm Sammy Daigan.
And every week we talk to a new influencer and kind of see what makes them tick. Today's influencer is Bobby Umar, a professional speaker in areas of networking, social media, and personal branding. He also runs the largest personal branding conference in North America. Bobby is interested in products related to health, career, parenting, and entrepreneurship. All right, let's get started. So in checking out your social, I took a look at your side hustle series you did, and you encourage people to think about how they want to spend their time. And as a successful speaker, author, and influencer, what steps did you take to structure your day in the most efficient manner, or has it always come easy to you?
First off, it doesn't come easy, so let's just be upfront about that. It's always a struggle. In fact, I can tell you just 2 days ago, I turned off all my notifications on my phone because they distract the heck out of me, right? And it's a major issue. So we always get distracted by what's going on. So I think that's a big thing. Now, that said, I'm always surprised myself in terms of how, when I work hard, how much I can get done in a day. That kind of blows my mind. I have bad days too. That's okay. But in terms of how I plan my day, a big part of it is year, half year, quarter, month. Month is the big one. What do I want to do this month? Month, week, and then day. And then by knowing that, I like to see my entire month on a page. So as much as I have everything on Google Calendar, I actually have a physical journal. It's right here actually, and it has one thing I love about it is I have my entire month on a page. And when I see that, I can plan out exactly how I want to spend my time weekly and daily. So I find that to be really helpful. And then the second thing I do that's really important is you can't plan all of your time. You plan 80% of your time because fires happen, things show up. And so one of the problems that people have is that they plan so much for how they want their life to happen, they don't plan for when life just happens. So you have to be able to have that buffer because life does happen.
Yeah, accounting for a little margin in your life.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
So we know influencers sometimes get strange requests to promote a product. What is the strangest influencer request that you've ever gotten?
It's always a good one.
There's a lot, but the one that, the one that was just a couple of days ago, it was actually to promote a radio station called the MAGA radio station, Make America Great Again station, and I was like, oh my god! And they said, we want you to promote our thing, we'll put you on the show, and we want you to follow all these MAGA, things. I was like, oh man, first off, I'm Canadian, but secondly, I definitely don't support, I'm all against divisive bullying behavior, and so for me, that whole rhetoric does not align with my brand at all, heart center and empathy. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to do that. So that's the wrong fit. What's that?
It was the wrong fit, it sounded like.
Oh, the totally wrong fit. But they couldn't even pay me to do that, right? I mean, they could offer me like lots and lots of money, and I still would never have done it.
Absolutely. And so I guess on the flip side of all the campaigns you've been involved in, what's been your favorite review? In other words, what's been your most successful partnership with a brand?
Honestly, I think good question. I think the best one actually was the diabetes one. I partnered with a diabetes product because I'm diabetic. And so talking about also by talking about my challenge with health and fitness and eating, I was very vulnerable, I was very raw, I was very authentic. And I think it really worked well. It was a great alignment because I was talking about things that I struggled with and I already had the influence, and so they loved it because they got real stories from real people, plus they had the influence aspect to it. So from my standpoint, that was probably the best one that I've seen. They were super uber delighted, and now they want to do even more work with me. So that one was actually really good work.
That's awesome, yeah.
I really like that.
I like the fact they gave me a platform to speak about things I don't normally speak about. Because normally I speak about personal branding, networking, thought leadership, whatever. Talking about my health and my struggles, that's something I don't really get paid to speak on. But as an influencer, I can talk about those things and actually reach a lot of people that are struggling.
Right, and did that play well with your audience? Because that's maybe a little outside your niche in terms of the professional side. Did that translate well?
For the most part, yes. Sometimes you get messages from people saying, you know what, you're supposed to be a thought leader, and I don't like it when you make yourself sound bad. And I'm like, you don't get it. Like, every single leader has problems, have dark days. But that's a rare thing. And I was surprised at the pretentiousness of the note. Just really I thought you were so amazing, and now you're like this. I'm like, well, where's your empathy? Where's I'm sharing my struggles with binge eating and how I feel bad about my body image. And oh my God, you're cutting me down for not being the perfect speaker on stage you want me to be.
Right. Yeah. I feel like most people would just love the authenticity and say, hey, I really respect, Bobby, and wow, that's really great that you opened up. I'm surprised that someone would have.
And again, that's 1 out of every 100, but it's still 1 out of 100, and you hear their voices, and sometimes the haters hurt more than the lovers, right? So
yeah. That's okay. 99 people love you, but that one, you just think about it at night.
Be my friend. Be my friend. Love me. Yeah, it's hard.
Exactly.
What's your favorite social network to use? Do you prefer visual-centric networks like Instagram or something? Or ones where you can write more in depth on a topic like Facebook?
Man, that is such a hard question. I love social media, and I love all the platforms. I've tried them all. They all work in good different ways. Instagram has the visual, which is amazing. Facebook, I've had some of the deepest, best conversations of my life, because it's very focused. When you want to talk about social justice or racism or poverty or children or parenting, and you dive, and you keep going. Because when you're at a party, someone will say, hey, Bobby, and all of a sudden you're distracted and you can't get back to the conversation. But Facebook allows deep conversations. Mm-hmm. Twitter doesn't allow that because, it's short tweets. You can't have that. It's a different type of conversation. And LinkedIn, it's more professional. So, I love Facebook for those deep, powerful conversations in my life, having access to people's lives. But I also, love Twitter for the voice I have, the quick nuggets I can share, the thought leadership I can learn from people. And then LinkedIn, LinkedIn has really changed now in the last year. I would say that the majority of my time now has shifted in the last year. I used to spend most of my time on Facebook and then Twitter, but now LinkedIn is number one by a wide margin because they've been encouraging more powerful discussions. Now, I still can't talk about things like politics and some of the things. I mean, I could. I choose not to. But still, now I'm getting some really great traction, great engagement. People are commenting and talking about the videos that I'm posting. And so LinkedIn has really become a great place for me where I actually build a community and have some great friends. So I'm loving all three, but right now I'd say the one that I'm really loving is, and Twitter, as much as I love it, there's a lot of vitriol there and it's very hard to deal with. So if I had to pick one, right now I'm loving LinkedIn.
So what are some of the biggest issues your audience has, and how do you help them overcome them?
I think the biggest issue that most people have, there's a couple, but I mean the main one is the idea of feeling lost in your career, stuck in your business, unfulfilled in your relationships. So this whole idea of people being lost, stuck, unfulfilled on their path. And I've been there too. And people create a narrative where they are too afraid to leave their job. I was like, well, my job sucks, and I hate my boss, but thank goodness for my wife and kids. Or the other one, I love my job, I can't stand my relationship. I don't want to leave a relationship. Or worse, hate my job, hate my wife and kids, thank goodness for hot yoga and rock climbing. And so we create this narrative that keeps us stuck because we're so fearful of making that big change. And what I would tell people is that, every single one of us can aspire to better things in all areas of our narratives, not just, like work and people in your life, your spirituality, to every aspect of your life that's important to you, your extracurricular pursuits. If one part of it's not good, that doesn't mean you should just create a narrative where, well, I'm satisfied with the other two and these ones are bad. No, work on all of them. So, for me, I'm working on my health, I'm working on my business. And so for me, a lot of people feel that way. And so all my content when it comes to personal branding, thought leadership, relationship building, business building, it's all about helping people go from good to great, to help them go from, a narrative that's not satisfying for them to something that's more fulfilling. I mean, I'm all about joy, fulfillment, and happiness. I mean, if you can create success around that versus money, like money is just a tool. If you create more fulfillment in your life, that's what you're going to look back on as your legacy and your story. You're saying, yeah, I was fulfilled. Mm-hmm. And so for me, I want to make sure that I help everyone get there to fulfillment.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And along that lines, do you have any advice for prospective influencers or entrepreneurs who are just getting started? Is there anything specific that you would have done differently when building your brand?
Well, I think a big thing a lot of people don't think about is who's your target, right? So number one, who's the target you serve, and then what's your why statement, right? So, and the why statement is great because it tells you the pain point that people are feeling, and it tells you who the target is, and it tells you how you could address that target. So a lot of people don't think about targeting and why and purpose. And so I think that to me is an important thing, because when I first started out, I was targeting everybody, right? I was like, okay, here's Bobby talking about parenting, here's Bobby talking about politics and career coaching and business and entrepreneurship and all these different things. But really it's better to focus on, one thing. Like my one main thing is called the power of connection. From that, there's three main things, which is personal branding, connection with the self, networking, connection with others, and then social media, connection with the world. And so for me, that's kind of how I've laid it out. But back in the beginning, it was all over the place. So I think, focusing your target and your why statement, who you serve, and then creating strategically focused content directly to address that pain point of the people you serve can go a long way for influencers, because then you build a tribe. Because then they know that this is what Bobby or Jill is going to talk about over and over again, and they're going to come to you for that advice. So if you build up whatever you want, whatever it is, like whether it's shoemaking or astrology or entrepreneurship, you can become a thought leader and influencer in any field as long as you do it right.
Awesome. And so you're also a public speaker. Do you have any advice for influencers that might make them feel more comfortable in front of the camera? Where it's more natural when they're doing reviews or something? Or
yeah, I talk a lot about thought leadership, and there's three things about thought leadership. One is networking, building relationships, broad and deep. Number two, always generating great ideas and content. So if you're Jay-Z, you're writing songs. If you're Gary Vaynerchuk, you're making videos. If you're Oprah, you're writing books. And then number three is always working on your speaking and your writing skills. So I think number one, you should always be working on investing in your speaking and writing skills as an influencer. The better writer you are, the better speaker you'll be. The better speaker you are, the better writer you'll be. That's the first thing. The second thing I think that's really important is if you want to be a good speaker, there's three parts. When I do speaker talks, I teach people how to speak better. I run a speaker mastermind group, and the three things I tell them is, number one, know your stuff, organize your stuff, rehearse your stuff. So you want to make sure you know your knowledge and be knowledgeable, and one of the most knowledgeable people on the topic. So make sure you know your stuff. Number two, organize in a way that's clear to you so you can express it, but also organize it for your audience so that they get it clearly from you. And number three, rehearse. If you're very nervous, definitely have to rehearse. And someone like myself, I don't rehearse very often, except for my TED Talks. I was so nervous I rehearsed 30 times. But my normal speeches, I typically don't rehearse. Once I have structure, I know what I want to do. But if you're an introvert, you need to rehearse your networking. If you are awkward, you need to rehearse your camera work and keep working on that until you feel more comfortable. It doesn't go away to zero. Like the discomfort of the fear doesn't go to zero. It shouldn't, because then you'll have a horrible attitude and you'll probably screw up even more. It's better to have some butterflies because it shows that you care, and that's normal. And that's a third thing, which I would say is work on your mindset. If you work on the fact that it's okay to have nerves because you care, and you're focusing on your eyes because you genuinely want to help them, then it's going to come more authentic and more easy for you to just talk about what you care about, what you love.
That's good advice. Yeah, I think that'll help influencers with authenticity. It's a reoccurring topic in a lot of our blog posts and stuff like that. So that'll really help. Those are all the questions I had, Bobby. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to speak with us. Want to join Intellifluence for free as an influencer? It's simple. All you need to do is go to Intellifluence.com, click the influencers link, and then click the Join for Free button. Once you've set up your influencer profile, you get immediate access to our Intellifluence marketplace where you can apply to offers from brands while you wait to be pitched. Also, be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Well, you know the drill. Thank you for checking out this spotlight, and we hope you join as an influencer for free.